Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and today I wanted to walk you around my 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. I'm building this thing for overlanding, and I just got back from a 2-week trip to the Wyoming backcountry discovery route where I kind of tested everything out. I've got some changes I'm going to make, but it's pretty well modified at this point. It still has some stuff to do, but I wanted to kind of walk you through where it's at this point, and I'll do another one down the road when I make additional modifications based on the stuff that I've learned from it. But if you have a D41 Frontier and you are looking to modify it, particularly for overlanding, this should be a great video for you, packed with information. So definitely stick around and watch till the end. But so let's dive into my 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X overlanding build.
When I let you go, I just pulled you closer. I can't understand where it came from, but you got it, I got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you gave to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, guys, so as I mentioned, this is my 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. I've been into Nissans for about 25 years now. I had a Titan swap 2nd gen. There's tons of content on the channel about that, so if you want to see that, go to the channel and just sort of check out some of the trip videos and things like that. That thing's a beast. I still have it, but it will be for sale soon. But this truck is awesome, and I really love the new Frontier. I think it's a great looking truck. It's got a lot of nice upgrades over the 2nd gen, and it's about time that they finally gave us a little bit nicer truck. Like, is it the top level, next level? No, not quite, but it does have some really nice features. The 9-speed and the 3.8 liter are great, and I've just been really happy with the truck. So, not to mention reliability, and the new platform is really awesome. So let's start at the front here, and I will kind of walk you through my modifications and what I've done so far. So up front, pretty much stock right now. I am looking at the Victory 4x4 bumper and the CBI bumper, and I'm also kind of considering the Weston bumper. I'll put links in the description to all those things that I'm talking about just to make them easy to find, but they are some great looking bumpers, and I love that they just kind of replace the stock lower valance of the bumper here, which is pretty nice. But for a stock vehicle, as the Pro 4X with the armor, even though it's pretty chintzy and lightweight, it's still better than nothing, and it's operated and functioned really well. I just went to Wyoming, like I mentioned. I was there for 2 weeks, and we were off-road pretty much the whole time. I put almost 5,000 miles on the truck in about 2 weeks, and it did great. It functioned perfectly. So again, really loving this truck, but let's talk about mods. So up front, got the Novesight ditch lights over here. I did a video on these. I'll put a card up here in the top right corner so you can go check that out if you want to know more. Also, you'll notice this little antenna here. That is my MXT 275 Midland unit, hard-mounted GMRS. That's a little ghost antenna, and that thing worked great in Wyoming as well to kind of keep me connected to the rest of the convoy. But that's pretty much it up front. Again, mostly stock so far, but still lots to come. Then you'll notice that it probably, if you've seen stock ones, it sits a little bit taller than stock. The reason for that is that I'm running the All Dogs Off-Road RC Killa suspension system. So it's basically replacement coils in the front and an add-a-leaf in the rear. As you can see, I've got a lot of weight in the rear, so I am sagging a little bit, so I'm probably going to have to do something about that. Since it's such a new truck, I didn't really want to do like a full suspension replacement and spend a bunch of money right up front. I kind of want to ride out the stock stuff for a little bit and see how it does for the next couple of years, and then I'll probably do heavy-duty leafs in the rear and a full coilover replacement in the front. So then moving to the inside, one thing that I really love that I carried over from my old truck is my Red Arc Red Vision power management system. This up here is the controller, and then the actual battery, the second dual battery, is a 200 watt hour LifePo 4 battery that's in a Plano crate in the bed of the truck. But this thing allows me to control everything from fog lights to my refrigerator to my strobes in the back to my bed lights. Pretty much anything that I can plug into it, I can control from this unit in the cab, which is nice. And there's also a phone app that allows you to control everything as well. So if I'm up in the tent and I want to turn on my bed lights, I can do that. So it's just a really cool system that allows me a lot of flexibility and a lot of control over where the power is coming from. It lets me run solar, it lets me run an AGM starter battery and a LifePo 4 house battery. It can control all that stuff, so the system is just fantastic. I really love it. It's pricey, but it's worth it in the long run. This has been in 2 trucks now, and it should be in this one until it dies, and then probably my next truck too. Inside here, I do have these off-roam mounts. Now, I went with these 20mm ball mounts because I like to mount cameras and GPS units and all that sort of thing. In the truck as well, but they're no drill, so you don't have to drill anything behind them. They just go into the stock screws that hold the dash center part on there. So that was kind of a nice little modification that allows me to, again, mount my phone or throw a GoPro up there or whatever I want. For now, I've got a little splitter down here that I've got plugged into my stock port, just kind of sandwiched between the seat here so that I can plug in a number of things. But that's just a nice little thing to have. It didn't require any drilling or anything like that. Again, my GMRS is right here, and I did do a video on this. I'll put a card in the top right corner of how I mounted this without having to drill into the dash. It's basically just mounted under the dash on this sort of arm here, and then it's magnetic, so I can just remove the handheld part and then smack it back up there when I'm done with it, and it's really easy to use. On the screen, I do have a screen cover. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. In the middle, I did add a little divider tray because without it, you just kind of have a giant hole in the middle of your center console. So with the tray, it gives me, spots for coins and things like that. It gives me spots for other gear and lets me sort of stack up my stuff. Other than that, the interior is pretty much stock. I did throw this Smitty-built trash bag up here just to have something to throw trash into when I'm in the truck. I do have a Garmin Overlander that I just kind of threw up here. I don't really love the placement. I need to figure out a better way to mount it. I'm probably going to put it on one of those ball mounts. But the unit itself is really nice, and I do like using it when I'm off grid and things because it always works because it's always connected to the satellites. In the door down here, I do just sort of temporarily have one of these Weegist fire extinguishers, just in case there would be an electrical fire or some sort of fire and I would need to put it out. So then coming around to the back here, I do still have my OVS 180 awning. This thing is awesome. When it opens up, it basically will cover the entire front of the truck and then maybe 6 feet out off the back. I didn't need it today. It's not raining or anything, so I didn't mess with it, but it is freestanding. You don't need to drop any legs. It's really awesome. It's probably the favorite awning that I've ever had, so I will put a link in the description down to that as well. I do have a WeBoost, and I really love this thing. It helps me boost my cell phone reception when I'm off grid. If I have just a little bit of cell phone reception, this will give me a little bit more. I did a big video on this that kind of showed you before and after turning it on and turning it off. And I'll show you where I mounted the booster too. So that's the antenna up there. And then I put a little piece of Velcro here on the back of this and right there on the center console because this is the wireless charger, right? So that's where my phone sits. And then I just stuck it right there. So basically that big antenna on the roof is grabbing signal. It's running through the booster, which is actually behind my back seat back there. And then I ran the cord for this underneath the seat and then right there, right by where my phone sits. So then when I'm in the truck and I throw my phone on the wireless charger, it's getting boosted signal from the WeBoost right there. As far as the bed rack, this is an extrusion bed rack. It's been great. It's amazing. It's super customizable. It's got these amazingly awesome mounts for your awning that allow you to push it out a little bit and up so that you can mount your rooftop tent. It's got a ton of different ways to mount things like my Otzi trash bag. I basically used stock hardware here and just mounted these loops up here so I can get to my trash bag from the back, but then it's underneath the rooftop tent. It's covered up from inclement weather, things like that. Going around here to the back, I do have an Iceco JP50 fridge on a stock Iceco slide, but then what I did is I built my own tilting fridge slide. I'll put a card up here in the right-hand corner to the video that I did on that because I actually show you how to do it. It's really simple. It's just a hinge up front and then some limiting straps in the back. But it's been a game changer. It allows me to actually get into my fridge, access everything, be able to see into it. But then when I slide it back into the truck and I close my tailgate, it's secured in there and there's no way to open it. So you don't have to worry about anybody stealing anything or taking anything or it sliding out while you're driving down the road, that kind of thing, which has been amazing. Up here, I've got a Nightlight strobe bar, and that is controlled by the Red Arc system. So the cool thing is I can be in the truck, and if we get on super dusty trails or it's super foggy or there's any sort of like impaired vision, I can just push a button inside and those will kick on and start strobing to give people more visibility behind me, which is pretty nice. Or if you have to pull off the road, you've got a flat tire or something like that, you could turn those on and you could have some safety, some peace of mind that people will be able to see you a little bit better. Now, of course, down below my fridge here is my do-it-yourself drawer system. I basically built 2 drawers here, which are equal size. They're about 21 inches across and then about 42 inches deep. So there is a ton of room in here. You can see back there, I've got tools all the way in the back. These are all tools over here on the side. And this is an entire rigid case with all my cooking stuff in it. And then up here, I've got my stove. I've got some fire starting stuff, Stanley, water boiling thing, a big pot. This is all like soap and stuff like that. I've got an extra 1-pound tank for propane up here. So, I've got a ton of options for storage in here with these 2 drawers. Now, of course, the big one here on the top is my Nature Nest rooftop tent. This is one of those things that's like a $1,600 knockoff rooftop tent from Amazon. I probably spent almost 20 nights in this thing now, and I love it. For the money, like, it is basically a Roof Nest knockoff, and I'm sure that their quality is a little bit better, but I love that the awning goes out to the sides. So, you know, I actually slept through like a hailstorm and stuff with my windows cracked open on the sides, but because of the style of this awning, it protects the side windows and the back window so that you can actually keep your side windows open too. You don't have to just be limited to your back window being open. And again, for $1,600, it took about a week to get to me. So it's really, really fast to set up. It's really, really fast to tear down. It's been great. It's pretty comfortable. The stock mattress that comes with it is decent. It's not the best thing you've ever slept on, but it's also not the worst one that I've ever slept on in some of my rooftop tents. I've had 3. So it is pretty decent. It also comes with a condensation mat, which is another nice feature, just stock. Now, another cool thing about my extrusion rack is I do have this slider here, and this will actually slide out so that I can reach my propane tank to cook on the tailgate. And I plan to mount my diesel heater up here to it. So again, I can slide it out here to the back of the truck and then run my tube up into the tent and access it really easily, get it plugged into a battery really easily, that kind of thing. So then on this side, there are a couple of MOLLE panels, which I actually have attached so that I can put a axe and a shovel up here. That's typically what I keep on there. This is just an overnighter that I'm on right now, so I didn't need it. Again, there's the 5-pound propane tank. It is on a 63 Designs mount, which I just used stock extrusion overland hardware to mount it to the slider, which was great. I do have these Nylite strip lights up here that are intended to be like bed light lighting. And you're supposed to put them down, you know, along the rails of your bed. I put them up there, and then I flip them on with my red arc, and they actually light up the entire rear part of my bed, which is really nice. So I basically use them as like scene lights or camp lights when I'm at camp, and they've been fantastic. And then kind of last but not least, up there is my Renogy 100-watt solar panel. That thing is constantly pumping power into the secondary battery, which is actually here in the bed. So you can see that black Plano crate right there actually houses the rest of my Red Arc stuff, my management system and my BCDC charger. And then it has the 200 watt hour battery in that box as well. So it's totally waterproof. Another thing that I think is kind of tricky and kind of smart is I actually plugged my shore power for my Red Arc, for my backup battery, into my bed plug. And then what I do is when I'm on the road, like driving for a while, I will flip on my inverter switch, my stock inverter switch inside the truck, this right here. And when I flip that on, it will actually start pushing power through the bed plug into my backup battery. So I can remotely charge it on top of the solar and keep the battery topped off, which has worked out really, really well. Like on that Wyoming trip, it was amazing. All right, guys, so that was the walk around of my 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X and all the modifications that I've done to it and the things that I've built onto it for overlanding. So I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button. If you're not already, make sure to click the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I'm going to be doing a ton of content around just the stock truck on its own so that you guys know kind of like mods to buy, things like that, what the interior is like, all that sort of stuff. I've already done a bunch of videos, so go check out the channel for more on that. And then there's going to be tons of stuff on this build as it continues. I've only had the truck for about 3 or 4 months now, and you can see the state that it's already at. So there's definitely more mods to come. In the description down below are links to all my other social channels, so if you want to follow along on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, I'd love to have you. Just click through those links and come join the conversation. There's also a link to my website where I sell stickers and patches related to overlanding and camping. Funny stuff like I hate people, so I camp, or a hot dog that says don't burn your wiener, or one that says F people, let's go overlanding, that kind of stuff. So kind of funny, interesting stickers and patches for your cooler or your rig or whatever, wherever you want to put them, right? So definitely check out that link. Again, thanks for watching. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you guys next time.